Firearms inspection and troubleshooting. This week, we will be talking about gas-operated actions. And these are some of the most popular actions these days and some of the most hot-button topic action these days. But we'll be talking about troubleshooting and inspecting them. And as always, guys, do you have the right tools? You know, I will always stress the importance of having the right tools, understanding what those tools are used for, and ensuring that you can use them. And this week's spotlight, we're going to talk about bore snakes for a little while. And bore snakes are basically going to be your one-stop shop cleaning option for getting deep down inside the interior of those bores. And sometimes those bores can get kind of long. So having a good bore snake will undoubtedly help you out. This is going to be the equivalent, should I say, of your wire brushes, your patches, your rod, so to speak. And the packaging makes it so easy to understand what calibers your specific bore snake will clean. And a lot of them will be multi-purpose, meaning they will clean more than one chamber bore. So I always suggest you guys get a bore snake. Now, let's talk about these gas-operated actions. So in a nutshell, guys, gas-operated actions are going to be using the gases that are created by the spent cartridge to operate the action. And remember, that's going to be all of those moving parts that allow you to load, unload, and fire that firearm. Those gases are used to operate that action. And the most popular, of course, right now are going to be the AR-15 pattern rifles. And today we'll be looking at the Ruger 5.56. And I got a couple other toss-ins just for visual aids, just because I want you guys to be able to really see exactly what's going on the interior of these firearms, because sometimes due to accessories and things of that nature, you can't really see. And just like with any firearm, before we begin any work, before we begin any type of handling exercises, you always want to make sure that that firearm is safe. So when you're conducting that inspection, you always want to make sure that the mag well is empty and there are no rounds in the chamber. And you've seen us do this before, guys. What we want to make sure that we do is do a physical as well as a visual inspection. For the physical part of it, remember, you can use a digit. I usually use my pinky because it's my smallest finger, and it can usually get into the chamber area of most firearms that I own. Now, once you've ensured that that firearm is empty and clear, you can go ahead and disassemble it by way of the takedown pins. A simple press on both sides. You can pull those pins out, and what you end up with are going to be both the lower receiver as well as the upper receiver. You won't be able to take these pins all the way out, but they will be removed enough so that you can separate both the upper and lower receivers. And when you're inspecting the upper receiver, the two main components that you're going to take out and inspect are going to be both the bolt carrier group as well as the charging handle. Now, from previous discussions, guys, we have discussed how important that bolt carrier group, sometimes referred to as the BCG, is. So you want to do a thorough inspection of this, ensure that that gas key is staked and properly in place, no wiggling. You want to ensure that all of the other components of this bolt carrier group is effective, safe, and in functioning order. Now, we switched over to the Talon armament, and that's the TAR-15. This is classified as a pistol, but it is driven by gas. And what I want you guys to be able to see is the gas tube. And every time a shot is expended, the gases that are created are sent by way of that gas tube from the gas block all the way back to the action. And this is how the firearm works. So every time a shot is taken, this process undergoes. So when you are performing your inspections, you are going to have to pay attention to how clean this gas tube is, the gas block, and things of that nature. So it's going to take a different level of familiarity than just your simple field stripping. And one thing that you guys need to be inspecting that I don't want you to forget about is going to be the charging handle. This plays a vital role in ensuring that this firearm operates safely. So you guys need to make sure that you conduct a thorough inspection of that charging handle, making sure that no edges are peened over, it is not bent, and making sure that it functions very well inside of that upper. When performing your inspection of the lower and you are attempting to troubleshoot any issues, you need to make sure that you're checking all external safeties. You need to check any components that have to deal with the trigger assembly. Also, be sure to check this plate. It can be easily damaged if you are pressing the trigger without the rifle together. And each week I always like to leave you guys with a few important takeaways. And again, guys, these are only used to keep that thought process driving, to keep that thought process going. And like always, first and foremost, you always want to ensure that there's no live ammunition present in your workspace. Right? When we're working on firearms, when we're doing any kind of inspections or troubleshooting, we want to ensure that there's no live ammunition present in that workspace. The only caveat to that is if we are at the live fire range conducting live fire. Other than that, there should be no live ammunition in our workspace. The importance of the bolt carrier group and the charging handle must not be underestimated. Guys, the bolt carrier group, again, is going to be like the heart of that rifle, of that system, okay? And that charging handle is what's used to make that system go hot, right? So we want to make sure that when we're conducting any kind of inspections, that we are giving these two things most scrutiny, all right? Not all gas-operated actions work by way of a gas tube. Some systems function off of a gas piston driven system. Again, they're still using gas, but the mechanisms are a little different. Take, for instance, the Sig Sauer P516 and the 516, the M400. All of these are gas-driven systems, but they use a piston as opposed to a tube. Some of the most popular gas-operated actions include the AR pattern rifles. And guys, just a little nugget, let's not forget that the AR-15 is not the only AR pattern rifle, okay? We've got the AR-10, the AR-15, the AR-7, the AR-9, and the list continues. So if you want to do a little outside research, go ahead and find out about all of the different types of AR pattern rifles. As we go through this week's lesson, I want you guys to think about one or two things, and one of them is going to be the importance of gas-operated actions. Are gas-operated actions superior to any of the other actions that we've discussed already? And if you think so, then why? Right? If not, then why? Okay. I just want to get you guys to start thinking about the importance of these different actions and how they pertain to firearms, right? And more especially, how they pertain to the shooter. Let's have a good week, guys. Hey, let's get to work.